you talk about siblings, but you don't name them. It's very important in interviews to name who you're talking about, because the general public don't know who your family is.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, because no one knew I had an older brother. His name is Dennis as well. He's actually this Dennis the second, right? And I'm the third. He's about 40, so he's about 49.
Okay.
49 years old now. He lives in the States. He was born in the Philippines. He came with my parents. I think for him, he's the one who had the rougher time in life, because I guess he came here as a teenager maybe, or young, as a young boy, and so to assimilate into the culture here, I can imagine how it was back then and how it was today. So it's very different, right?
Much more.
Yeah, it was tough. I'm sure it was very tough.
There were gangs at the time.
That's right. So I have my older brother, Dennis. They call him Den.
Okay.
That was his nickname. And I have my older sister, Sharon. She's in Hawaii. She lives in Hawaii now. And then it's myself, and then my younger sister, Shirley, who's still here in Guam.
Okay. So were all of you born here other than Den?
Yes.
When your brother came to Guam, he was the only child?
Yes.
The rest of you were born here?
Yes.
All right. Did he have any problems? Did he run into any difficulties being a teenager?
Yes, he did. During high school, I know he told me how he went to Father Duane's, got kicked out of there. Then he went to JFK, got kicked out of JFK. It was just a rough time for him, right? And so, he ran into some problems as well in his older years here, which was very hard for us, very hard for the family. He got into drugs, and so you see, I've seen it from, 25, 30 years ago. The drug problem, I saw how it was then and how it is today, so I could relate. When people get into this situation, I could relate, because we went through this. He had run-ins with the law locally, and even with federal law. So he served in federal prison.
As a politician, you develop laws that govern this community. What is your position on this? How can the war on drugs be fought?
It's different approaches, but the one approach that for the past few years that I've been trying to advocate for and to get going is what we lack, which is the treatment. Right now we have, I got to recognize the groups that provide substance abuse treatment here, but the problem we have is that if you look at the clients that are in these programs, they got in there through the criminal justice system, and it was, you had to break a law, and then the judge would have to send you there. I look back now and I said, I know my parents knew what was happening. They wanted to help him. They tried to help him, but just like today, you can't just take your brother in the car, drive him to a facility and say, here he is.
You can't?
You can't. It's hard. It's very hard.
They will not accept the way.
There probably is some, there's that opportunity. There's some levels of treatment, but the treatment that is needed, that I see now, and I saw with my brother, is an intensive program. It's not just the once a week, twice a week. This is a inpatient, and I've seen other facilities in the Philippines, and I read about some in the States. Those are the type of facilities that we need here. It is the inpatient. You're there for a few months, and there's a real program. We used to have it here. It was called New Beginnings. We still have New Beginnings now, but the level of what we need has not been stood up. I'm Dennis Rodriguez, and I approve this message.